If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast. We're, of course, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman. 5 teams, 7 years. Most of you know that. I do the Eagles preseason games on television. Last one coming up Friday night as the Eagles go on the road for the first time to take on the New York Jets, who did not look good at all against the Giants last weekend, although neither did the Eagles against the Browns, if we're being honest. So two teams, I guess, maybe looking to bounce back from poor performances in preseason week 2. You can and certainly should check me out on social media at Ross Tucker NFL, especially if you like press box food or delicious beers. I tend to post those when I have them. You can also follow us at Ross Tucker Pod. And next week's one of our biggest shows of the year, just to be honest with you. I mean, already getting text messages from friends. When's the season win total episode? When's the season win total episode? That's next week, right? So here's the game plan. Today, we'll review what we saw and learned in preseason week 2. We'll talk about preseason week 3. Steve has some prop bets that he feels pretty good about, some season-long prop bets to discuss. Programming note, we will have a major, and I mean major, announcement next week as it relates to the future of this show. So I would highly encourage you to not only, whether it's here on the podcast app, to follow and subscribe and make sure you have notifications turned on, but also youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, and make sure you're signed up for our email newsletter that you can get any of the links that we ever post, or you can go sign up at rosstucker.com, as I will lay everything out there. But it's somewhat related to one of the things Steve would like to talk about today, but it's a major, major announcement. And the short version is you guys are going to be very, very excited. Very, very happy, very excited. It's going to be awesome. Big things coming. By the way, all the more reason with that announcement next week for you to go to patreon.com/RTmedia to make sure that you are a member of our private Tuckheads Slack channel and you get the spreadsheet for all of our bets, because, spoiler alert, there will be more bets in 2025 than there has ever been before. You should be excited. As a reminder, you can also always ask Steve any question. Hopefully we'll get to one today. All you need to do is take advantage of any of the sponsors you hear on the show, or maybe even easier, just rate and review the show on Apple or Spotify or whatever. Subscribe on YouTube, and then send that to me, ross@rosstucker.com. I think we just posted on social media a Madden giveaway at Ross Tucker Pod on Twitter X to find out how to get a Madden, which is, we love giving away free Maddens. We love that they give us some codes to give you guys. The Steve I keep referencing is the one and only Steve Fezzik at Fezzik Sports, and only at Fezzik Sports on social media. Only 2-time winner of the Super Contest. I've lost track of how many top 10 documented contest finishes this no longer young man has. Although he looks young, looks great. Evidently, betting is a good lifestyle, Steve. I mean, you look healthy, your hair, your skin. How old are you?
I'm on the wrong side of 60, and I'm going to leave it at that, Ross.
But, I mean, that's pretty impressive how you look, man. I mean, I guess betting is, you would think being a professional sports bettor would not be like the healthiest lifestyle, but you look pretty healthy, actually.
You know, I just got a double MRI on both my knees. Preventative, just want to see what shape they're in. I'm very fearful the orthopedist is going to put me on the disabled list for life for tennis going forward. Yes.
Well, listen, it's smart though for you to at least know where you're at, right? To know how things are. I do that as well, especially from a football standpoint. Okay, here's what we got, Steve. Preseason week 2, takeaways. Preseason week 3, look ahead. College football week 0 discussion. We made bets on all of them on the College Draft podcast this week with Emery Hunt. So those of you that love betting college football, we got real games. Iowa State, K-State. We've got Stanford, Hawaii. That's all on the College Draft podcast. But Steve has some thoughts on that and some prop bets as well. Let's start with this, Steve. Let's start with preseason week 2. Was there anything you saw, witnessed, whatever, that is going to affect any of your games of the year, is going to affect your season win total, your official season win total bets? I had my buddy Chuck texted me and said, that's a very profitable day for me. He's had a lot of success just trailing all of our season win total bets over the years. Anything jump out to you from preseason week 2?
So overreaction, preseason week 2, I'm on the bandwagon. I've changed my opinion, actually, on one team and confirmed on 2 others, the Bears. You know what, Ross? We got an adult in the room. We got a real head coach. The Bears, they're projected to finish last, and rightly so, in that division. I think the Bears might actually be able to win 9 games because they are certainly hitting on all cylinders early in preseason.
So, okay, Steve, we need to talk about this. This is really important. So because the starters looked good against the Buffalo Bills backups Sunday night on national television, you're going to change your whole handicap for the season on this team? Because this is when there are times when I really lean on you and I really need your advice on the numbers. Why should I not do this? Why is this the wrong from a math standpoint? This is where I can add some value for you. What are we doing here, Steve? Based on a couple of series in a preseason game, you're changing your handicap on a team?
100%, because Caleb Williams couldn't play a lick last year and he was terrible. And now, under the right tutelage, he looks like a very competent quarterback. And the Bears have always had the talent, and they've upgraded the talent levels. It's always difficult. Don't overreact, but you need to react. And it's one thing if a team, hey, they play all their starters and the Bills didn't play anyone. Well, the Bears, that was a competitively priced line. So this information was known before the game started, and the Bears outgained them by 400 yards. So across the board, whenever I see an outlier, a crazy final like that, I gotta stand up and take notice. In fact, I bet the Vikings week 1 regular season when they're catching points, all right, +2 and +1.5. I think it's +1.5 on the Vikings. Now the Bears are the underdog. The Bears are catching 1.5. I think this line's going to close pick 'em. It's time to just play for the middle, play back on the Bears.
Okay. So, a couple thoughts here. One is every team, this is super important for everybody because we got preseason week 3 coming up. Every team has different priorities and objectives when it comes to preseason games. I want to give you one quote, which I think is really important. Preseason week 1, Bengals and the Eagles, okay? I'm calling that game for the Eagles. The Eagles on a 3rd down run a cover 0 all-out blitz. They have Keely Ringo, who's battling to try to show he can be a starter, covering Jamar Chase, arguably the number 1 receiver in the NFL, man-to-man with no help whatsoever. Chase breaks off his route. Burrow throws it to him. Chase makes Ringo miss. Chase scores a touchdown. Really bad play for Ringo, whatever. Vic Fangio, the Eagles defensive coordinator, says, and I quote Steve, I would never in a real game call cover zero there. I would never have Keely Ringo man-to-man on Jamar Chase one-on-one. I wanted to see how he handled it. I wanted to see how he reacted to it. So I think it's super important to know that some of these teams, they literally are calling plays to put specific players into situations that they would never, ever do. First of all, they wouldn't call cover zero. Secondly, they wouldn't have Keely Ringo man-to-man on Jamar Chase. Why am I saying all this? Because I believe, Steve, the Bears had targeted the nationally televised Sunday night game on Fox at home against a good team like the Bills. We're going to gear everything up for that. We're going to play our starters. We're going to have a great game plan and script to start the game for success, to make Caleb Williams look good, to give him confidence. By the way, nothing wrong with that. All of that's great. I think it's wonderful. The Bills couldn't care less. You know, the Bills are just trying to figure out which of those second and third string guys are going to be on the roster or not. They probably didn't game plan a lick. And so I just want you and everybody else, Steve, to understand these teams have different priorities, different objectives, and you need to take those into account and take every performance with a hefty grain of salt.
Agree 100%. And if the Bears had won 27-13, I probably wouldn't have reacted. And maybe I'm overreacting to Caleb Williams and all his horrendous throws that I saw last year and horrendous decisions and inability to manage the clock at all. We'll see if things will be different. I think they will under Ben Johnson. I'm aboard though. To not upgrade the Bears and give them no adjustment is to give them a big adjustment is ludicrous. To give them no adjustments incorrect, in my opinion.
Got it. Okay. I think small adjustment makes sense. I don't remember where you had him before and then where you have him now. He made some great throws. I like that they had him under center. I would give them a small upgrade, but it would be pretty small, just to be fair. All right. Anything else? Preseason week 2 that changed your grade, changed your evaluation on any teams?
I upgraded Denver. The more I think about this, I think Denver could win that division. By all reports, Bo Nix has really been studying in the offseason to bring his game to the next level, and that roster is stacked. Everything I see about Denver, I like going into the year.
More great stuff right after this. So I love when you guys send me pictures of your Labatt Blue or Labatt Blue Light that you're drinking or Labatt Blue Light Lime. Just make sure you're racking up the points with it, right? If you're going to snap a photo of the beer, snap a photo of the receipt. Upload it instantly to rewards.labattusa.com. It's free to sign up. It's called Buy Beer, Get Gear. You're literally just buying the Labatt you would buy anyway and then getting free merch as a result. Rewards.labattusa.com. Okay, so sounds like they're going to be an over team for you. I wonder what it would be for them to win the division. I wonder what the odds are.
Well, they're going to be a big dog because KC's supposed to win 11 games and Denver's still 9.5 shaded to the over. And you still got the Chargers, lined where they're at. And I'm not high on the Chargers. Kansas City, I know everyone keeps saying it's the easiest money in sports, bet them just to win the division, them and Buffalo every year. I think this might be the year KC comes back to the pack.
Yeah, not me. If you heard my AFC predictions on Monday's Ross Tucker football podcast, I'll have the NFC predictions on Wednesday's show. I'm all in with the Chiefs yet again. Don't they say, Steve, what's the thing in betting, right? where if it's happened 5 in a row, 6 in a row, 7 in a row, 8 in a row, don't you stick with that until it goes the other way? Don't you what is that called? And don't you ride the wave as long as it goes?
Bet the streak. Craps players swear by it, right? Like what's happening is going to continue to happen. I'll come over the top and say, actually, in football, when a dynasty ends, it falls hard typically. So when you get a dynasty like the Cowboys, and they're winning Super Bowls and the like, and then they lose in the playoffs, oftentimes they fall off the cliff shortly thereafter.
Yeah, well, let me just say right now, I am betting the streak as it relates to the Kansas City Chiefs. All those healthy receivers, they're better at left tackle with this rookie. I am betting the streak. But interesting. Okay, Denver. Anything else from week 2 teams that you took away?
Let me take a focus on a team that's projected to be horrible. Only win 5.5 games. I want to make a very, very ridiculous, bold statement. I think the Giants, if things fall right, could compete for a playoff spot. I really think if they can just get average quarterback, they got playmakers, they got a nasty defense, they got a great D-line, they got their swagger. I'm very bullish on the Giants. I know they got a really difficult schedule, and they might turn it over to Dart halfway through the year, and that would be a disaster probably, even though he looked good in preseason. But early in the year, I think the Giants absolutely can compete with just about anyone.
Wow. Yeah, that's a negative for me also, actually. I will say this. They have some ridiculous defensive linemen. I mean, they really do. That is to throw out Burns and Dexter Lawrence and Abdul Carter. I mean, that gives them a chance for sure. By the way, Steve, did I see this correctly? That there were people that got Flacco at plus 1,500 to be the Browns starting quarterback? Where was he plus 1,500 at some point?
It's news to me. He was always supposed to be the starter from the point I picked up on it. So that surprises me.
Yeah, I saw multiple people posting about this. If you were following me, you would have known to get Flacco at plus 1,500. How was he ever plus 1,500 would be my question. That doesn't make any sense at all. As soon as they signed him, you had to think that was a distinct possibility, right?
Well, he was always the favorite since I've been tracking it, so I can't comment on him being 15-1.
Flacco opened plus 1,500 to be Cleveland's starting quarterback on week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. He received 78% of the bets for 88% of the handle and closed plus 130. So when he opened that had to be before they even signed him. I mean, that's like, how is that even possible?
I can't comment on it. I never saw any numbers like that.
Got it. Okay. What about preseason week 3, Steve? Looking ahead. I think there's games Thursday night already again, even though we just had one last night with the Bengals and the Commanders. What's your approach to preseason week 3 typically?
It's all about information. We talked about week 2 being the week I like playing the 0-1 teams against the 1-0 teams. And there was only one of them, and it was the Cowboys, and I didn't want to wager on the Cowboys. They got killed. But week 3, I got nothing in terms of just general trends. I will say this. We had more overs than unders last week, 9-7 to the over. Week 1, 14-2 to the over. So we'll see if there's a little bit of more inflation on these totals, but I don't think so, Ross, because I think everyone realizes a lot of teams just mail in week 3. Really, the game is you follow the beat writers, you find out who's playing their starters more. You nailed it. You talked about it. If you got 1s going against 2s and 2s going against 3s, you have a big advantage, and that's really how the pros attack. To try to give out a projection now is premature. I'm sure there's some people that do have a good anticipation of who's going to play their starters more. That's where the edge is.
It's interesting. I don't know what either one of these teams will do yet. I'm just thinking about Jets, Eagles, Based on their track record, I think it's unlikely the Eagles would play any of their starters. and they might not even play guys like Tanner McKee or Will Shipley, some of the guys they didn't play preseason week 2. The Jets were so bad, and their offense has been so bad that I tend to think that they might play Justin Fields and those guys for a couple series to make sure they have some confidence and some success going into that opener against the Steelers. So that's just my guess. I have not read up on any of the stuff from the Jets yet or Jets beat writers, and I could be totally off, but that's just my initial instinct. The other thing is, Steve, I'm curious with week 3 preseason, so you're waiting on the beat writer information or announcement from coaches, but we also have like real college football games this week. College football games that actually count. I think it's 5 of them. Week 0 college football. Are there any, like, how much do you get into that? How do you track college football? I know you're not making your own numbers on that, but are there trends that we should be aware of?
One of my favorite things to do week 0 and week 1, very early in the season, is look at the competitively priced games that are lined close to pick 'em, not games where, like Idaho State, UNLV, where there's 26-point favorite. So look at a game either team could win, a total that's not too high, so keep the total in the 50s, and play the first quarter under, because it's just human nature. These teams aren't really ready to go. It's too early. They want to minimize mistakes, establish the running game, don't turn the ball over, and you get conservative, low-scoring first quarters. So very first game in Dublin, Iowa State, Kansas State. I'm going first quarter. It's right available DraftKings under 10.5, -135. Ross, college teams don't kick lots of field goals. It's not going to land 13. It's going to take 14 to beat me. Good luck with that. Bold prediction. Think about me 12 minutes into that game when it's 0-0, and we got first quarter under 10.5, with both these teams playing a de facto playoff game, if you will. Anyone can win the Big 12. It's a huge game. Both teams, I expect to be ultra conservative.
That's interesting, because you'd also think on some level they could all have new plays or new schemes, an opening script that they feel really good about, that they could have success with. I'm just curious, Steve, what are the limits on like a college football week 1 or week 0 first quarter under?
Usually, in most books, $300 to $500. But you know what? It spends. So most people bet, less than $100 a game. So that shows when you're a smaller bettor where the biggest edges can be accumulated. Ross, you're right about the scripting, but these coaches, they do it all wrong. They the exception is the Eagles and Kansas City. Eagles or Kansas City, they'll throw a bomb on the first play. They're smart. They'll take advantage if they see something on film and the defense is creeping up too much. But the vast majority of college football teams, when they script early in the season, it's always ball control. If they throw a pass, it's a short pass. Give the quarterback confidence. Let him complete a little dump off. It is so rare that you see a college team try to throw a bomb on their first couple of plays, when the truth is that's probably exactly the time they should be doing it. You as a lineman, though, you love it when the first play is a run play to kind of get your juices going, right?
You want a run play or a quick pass. There's nothing worse than if they call a bomb, a drop back pass, even play action you don't like. You want to get into the flow a little bit before they call any plays like that put you in a very onerous spot.
Tick, move the chains. Tick, 2 minutes in, 3 runs. Yep.
All right, what about, Steve? You said you got some prop bets based on watching the preseason, and I know we're going to be talking more props during the season. Hint, hint, make sure you're following us on social and sign up for the newsletter to get the big announcement next week. But what are some of the props you're looking at?
I'm going to look at 2 running backs. These numbers make no sense, Ross. So start with the Bengals. Chase Brown, their stud running back. Everyone is drafting this dude really, really early in their drafts. Rush yards, 900 yards for the bell cow that's going to be getting all kinds of work. Yeah, if he gets hurt, we'll lose. Otherwise, we're going to win. Chase Brown over 900 rush yards.
And that's the other one.
All right, Caleb Johnson, the rookie for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he is being lined at 750. So think about this. He's only 150 yards away from Chase Brown, who's a total stud. Caleb Johnson has been disappointing in camp. He's going to be the backup running back for the Steelers. Now, I know the Steelers love to run the ball, but for him to be in the same area code as Chase Brown for his yardage is insane. So we're going under Caleb Johnson, under 750.
Ooh, I like both those, Steve. Love it.
They're
totally
both going
right
to win,
about
Ross.
Chase Brown. What's that?
Both of them are going to win. I guarantee it.
Whoa. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't be out here guaranteeing it, but I do like both of them. And I do love our annual season win total episode, which is next week. The week after that, we'll be betting NFL Week 1. Hard to believe. And maybe even more. Going to be awesome. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for tuning in to Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.